Sairam students, welcome back to the online session of your environmental studies. Today we are going to study environmental studies. And in environmental studies, we are going to start our new chapter. So I am going to give you some hints. You just have to guess the name of the chapter. Okay. I'm going to give you one hint more. That is, you have already read that chapter in your English active. So, guess the name of the chapter. Okay. I'm going to give you more hints. Your first hint is here. When do you wake up? When do you wake up? Okay, some of you woke up at 6 o'clock. Some of you woke up at 7 o'clock. When you go to school. But I know you all wake up at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or maybe late or maybe early in the time of holidays. When there is holidays, I know everybody woke up late. Most of you woke up late actually. Some of you are good students who woke up early in the morning. Okay, so there is a particular time of you to wake up in the morning. Now see the next hint I am going to give you, which is, when do you eat your lunch? When do you eat your lunch? In school, you eat your lunch at 11 o'clock. Or at your home, when you are at your home, maybe some of you eat your lunch at 2 or 2:30. Okay, so there would be a particular time for your lunch also. Next is one more hint I'm going to show you. Okay, just guess with this hint. When do you go to sleep? When do you go to sleep? Most of you slept at 8 o'clock at night. Most of you sleep at 10 o'clock at night. And there are all students have different time of sleeping. Okay, so it all depends on you. But there would be a particular time when your days are scheduled properly. So the name of the chapter, from these hints, guess the name of the chapter, and the name of the chapter would be time. Yes, our name of the chapter is time. So today we are going to study our chapter number 12, that is time. Chapter number 12, that is time. Okay, we are going to study our chapter number 12, that is time. Okay, so from the last hints, what you got that we have the particular times of everything. Like if we want to go to school, so there is a particular time of school. Like if you have to reach 7 o'clock, so it is a particular time. If you will be late, so what happen? Teachers will give you punishment. So that is why we have to do all our work on time, because these scheduled time shows that how punctual and how disciplined we are. So we have to make our life disciplined and punctual, so that only you can do all your work. Like you can study, you can play, you can watch TV, you can do everything if you manage your time accordingly, you manage your time properly. Okay, so scheduling the time is must, and time is the major key to get success in every field. Now let's begin with the chapter 12, time. Okay, see here. Time is very important. Time never stops. Time once gone, never come back. Therefore, we should make the best use of time. The sun helps us in finding out the time. The sun helps us in finding out the time. So, as we all know, time is the important key factor to our success. Time is very important because time never stops for anyone. It always runs. It always runs. It can't stop like you. It always runs. And once the time gone, it will never come back. Okay? If you don't study at a particular time, then it could not get back. Therefore, we should make the best use of time. That means we should schedule our daily time routine properly so that we can do all the things and all the activities of our day. Like it is necessary to play and it is also necessary to study. So, if we have a proper scheduling, then only we can manage our time. Then only we can make the best use of our time. And what is the normal and the basic thing which helps in finding out the time when there is no clock? What helps us to find the time? That the thing is sun. Sun helps us in finding out the time. How sun helps us in finding out the time? Okay. When the sun rises, that means it is morning. When the sun is over our head, that means it is the noon time. And when the sun sets, it is evening time. And when there is a dark and the stars and the moons appears in the sky, that means it is the night time. So according to this, our early mans and our ancestors knows the particular time of the day. Okay, so sun helps us in finding out the time. Okay, I know nowadays nobody sees the positions of the sun, but the sun's positions always helps us in finding out the time. Nowadays what we do? We see directly clocks and our watches to find out that what time it is. Okay, but in the previous time people use the position of the sun to find out the time. Okay, find out the proper time. We will study about the time more. See, the beginning with the sunrise. The beginning with the sunrise. This time of the day is called morning. Okay, the day begins with the sunrise. Our day begins with the sunrise. Okay, and when the sun rises, this time of the day is called morning. And in morning, what you do? You woke up and go to the bath and brush your teeth and dress up for school and go to the school. So, this is your basic day routine of the morning. So, the day begins with the sunrise. When the day begins, first thing which happens is sunrise. And when the sun rises, that particular time of the day is called morning. Next, see. Now see. At noon, the sun shines overhead. At noon, the sun shines overhead. That I told you that when sun is directly over our heads, that means that particular time is afternoon. That particular time is afternoon. Then this is the time for lunch break. This time of the day is called afternoon. Children come home from school in the afternoon. Children come home from school in the afternoon. Okay, so when the sun is directly over our heads, that means this time is the afternoon time. And in afternoon, what we do? We eat our lunch. And in many offices and in many schools and everywhere, usually this is the time for the lunch break. This is the time for the lunch break. This time of the day is called afternoon. As I told you, this time of the day is called afternoon. This time of the day is called afternoon. Children come home from the school in the afternoon. You all come home from the school in afternoon. And I know this is a very happy time for all of you because you go to your home and you'll play and you watch televisions and do more activities at your home. So that is why it is the very happy moment. So children come home from school in the afternoon. Now see the next. When the sun starts to set slowly, it is evening. When the sun starts to set slowly, it is evening. It is the time to do our homework and play. People also come home from work in the evening. Okay, when the sun starts setting slowly, this time is known as the evening time, and it is the time to do our homework. I know this is your boring time when you do your homework and play, but it is also a good time because you will play in evening. So it is a time to do your homework and also play. People also come home from the work in the evening. Maybe your father or your mother who are working, they come home from their work in the evening. Okay. So when the sun sets, it is the time of evening. It is the evening time. Now see the next. See, when the sun completely sets and moon and stars appears in the sky. When the sun completely sets and the moon and the stars appears in the sky, this time of the day is known as night. We all know when it is darker outside and the sun and the moon appears in the sky, we know what time it is. It is night. The sun turns dark, the sky turns dark. It is the time to go to our bed and the day ends. Okay, when it is dark outside, there is sun and the moon outside. So it is the time of to go to our bed and our day ends. Okay, so night is the last time of the day. Now see, then again the sun rises and the next day starts. Then again the sun rises and our next day starts. And again this process will going on. Now what we do with this all, we are going to perform one activity and we will do the rest of the chapter in our next video. So now we are going to perform one activity. What we are going to do? We are going to perform one activity here. See, circle out the correct option. You just have to circle out the correct option. You have to circle out the correct options. See, our first question is, when do you do your homework? When do you do your homework? When do you do your homework? So the options are evening or night. Do you do your homework in night? No, night is the time for sleeping. So we do not do our homework in the night. Do we do our homework in the evening? Yes, we do our homework in the evening. We do our homework in the evening. And We have to circle the evening. We have to circle out the evening. When we do your homework, we do our homework in the evening. Okay? See? You complete your homework in evening after school had finished. When your school had finished, then you start your homework. When your school had finished, then you start your homework. Okay? So you complete your homework in evening after school had finished. Now see the next question. When do you eat your breakfast? When do you eat your breakfast? In evening? Options are evening and morning. When do you eat your breakfast? In evening or in morning? You eat your breakfast in evening? No, we do not eat our breakfast in evening because it is not a correct time for the breakfast. So what is the correct time for the breakfast? So the correct time for the breakfast is morning. We eat our breakfast in morning. So circle out the morning. Now see, breakfast is the first meal of the day. Breakfast is our first meal of the day. Okay. Now see the next. Next question from here is, see, when do you eat supper? What is supper? Supper is the last meal of the day. That means if you had dinner in as the last meal of your day, so it is known as the supper. So, when do you eat supper? So, the options are morning. Do you eat your supper in the morning? That means do you eat your last meal of the day in the morning? No. If we eat the last meal of the day in the morning, then we will faint or we fall ill. Because if we eat only in the morning, that whole day we have to be hungry, and that would cause a major disease in our body. So that is why we have to eat all the time, but in a small quantity and after every 2 hours. Okay, so we do not eat our supper in the morning. Next option is night. Does we eat our supper in the night? Yes, because we eat our last meal of the day in the night. So circle out night. Circle out night. We do eat supper in the night. We do eat supper in the night. Now see the next. Supper is the last meal of the day. As I told you, supper is our last meal of the day. Next is C. Next question. When do you wake up? When do you wake up? Options are in morning or afternoon. Do you wake up in afternoon? No, it is very late. So we woke up in morning. So circle on morning. We woke up at morning. So circle on morning. Okay, so you wake up in the morning. You wake up in the morning. Now the next question is, when do you come home from school? When do you come home from school? So the options are night. Do you come from school in night? No. Do you come home from school in afternoon? Yes. We come home from school in the afternoon. So circle on the afternoon. Circle at afternoon. Now see, you return home from school in afternoon. You return home from school in afternoon. So this is your chapter number 12, time. We will study the remaining chapter in our next video. Till then, stay well, stay safe at your home and also study well. Thank you so much.